Good Friday morning, Sonor family. Jules here, and I'm having my morning coffee. This makes almost a full pot so far. I will stop with a full pot. I don't get that second one going. I'd never sleep. I don't sleep much as it is. Um, Instead of just incessantly rambling today, I've actually got a couple of things here to talk about. I got some cool interview stuff going on tomorrow. Will be the interview with Mark Eldridge with Artisan Customs. And if you think the business card looks nice, wait till you see his uh, his drumstick holders and pods and tables and such, if you haven't already. Todd Zuckerman uses this stuff, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Gabs Dornier, he's got some stuff coming, and it's going to be a good interview. Of course, it's already done. I know how it turned out, uh, but it'll be released in the morning at 4 o'clock East Coast time, and hope you check that out. I sound like a broken record, but I'm just going to keep saying this. You should be watching all these interviews. If you're a Sonar guy, you should, I highly recommend, even if you don't know the person or if you know who they are and you just don't care, there's a lot of really good information in these interviews with all these guys, and I highly recommend you check those out. Um, got one coming up with Gabor Dornier. He prefers to be called Gabs. Got one coming up with Gabs soon, tentatively scheduled for the 16th. Waiting to iron out a few, well, not really wrinkles. Put some polish. How about that? Working to get some polish put on that. Uh, Still in limbo on the Lamar Carter interview. It's completed as far as I'm concerned. I'm waiting to see if he has any edits he wants before I can release it. So waiting to hear back from him on that. Then I will schedule that out for an upcoming Saturday. Uh, Soon I've got Kevin Hernandez. He's been with he's been a Sonor artist for about a year. We're going to talk with him a little bit. That one's in post production. All the filming's done. Just gotta get the post production done and get it scheduled up. Got a lot of great stuff in the works on the interviews. I got a really big one. I kind of want to tell, but at the same time, anything could happen to derail this thing, and that's happened a couple of times with other interviews, which may be an indication of something really cool. So we'll just see how the rest of this year shakes out, and see how 2026 kicks off for the Sonor brand. So the AQ2, the anniversary model, I've seen it in person. I've owned the AQX and the AQ1, so I'm intimately familiar with the hardware and the build quality and all that of the AQ line. The AQ2 is a maple shell, and I've seen it. I did not get down and play it, and I didn't really hear anybody play it. But there's a good video out, and I got a link to that in the description. Brian Macarenas, and if I've said that incorrectly, sir, I certainly apologize. No disrespect intended. But it's an absolutely great video. He's got the thing tuned up, mic'd up. It's a professional recording job, and it sounds phenomenal. The things are really punchy. So if you wanna participate in the 150th anniversary stuff, if you want a very limited edition drum set, if you want a solid drum set, a beautiful drum set, and a great sounding drum set all in one package without spending 15 or $16,000, well, you are in luck. That drum set is available soon, if not already by the time you read this. I don't know when the release date is. I've heard conflicting stories like it's going to be real soon, And then the Sweetwater site says October, and they've been wrong before on releases on that. So I don't go by that too much. Artist Bronze, that's kind of fallen off the radar. I still own it. I got a brand new Artist Bronze snare drum a while back. I took some pictures of it. Still tied up in the bag from Germany. It's still tied up in the bag from Germany. I still haven't played it. And there's a couple of reasons for that, and I'll tell you what that is. The um, the Artist Bronze, I'm really excited about it, really. And it's just one of those things that when I have been there and done that, I tend to get bored with something. And I know that the sooner I break the snare drum out and start playing it, the sooner I'm going to be ready to sell it and get something else. So for that reason, I haven't been in a rush. Plus, when the 150th anniversary compressors, which appear to be just basic catalog run of the mill, I say run of the mill, standard compressors with a 150th anniversary badge. When those came out, I was kind of apprehensive about playing mine because I'm like, what if they come out with a 150th anniversary model of the bronze, the artist bronze, even though the compressors have jumped up and down in price. I think Guitar Center's actually got them on sale again right now. So my thought was, if I hang on to this and leave it unscathed, and they come out with a 150th anniversary model. Telling you, it's been about a pot of coffee, and I can tell it. Time to eat. But you kind of get where I'm going with this. I didn't want to bang this thing up or even take it out of the bag. In the event, I wanted to try to do some kind of exchange, even if I took a little bit of a hit on a 150th anniversary model. Why is that so hard for me to say? But I don't think that's going to happen, and I know it hasn't happened yet. So the other angle on this is that I'm playing the cheapest or the least expensive, I hate the word cheap, the least expensive compressor snare drum in the line, other than the fact that I've got the 6.5 inch deep instead of the 5.75. So out of 10 snare drums, I've got the second least expensive of the compressors. And y'all know what? It's stock. I don't even have the Hellas on there. I've got the standard Sonor throw on it. I don't have the dual glide, which I had fitted on there one time and messed up putting the wires on. But the snare drum just kicks. I mean, it just, you know what? It does everything I want a snare drum to do. It's one of I play it at church, and this is one of those things that when you sit there and you really focus on a sound, uh, you know, too much intention to me skews things. Where where the rubber really meets the road, in my opinion, in my own experiences, and I don't speak for everybody, but when you're just doing your thing and you're not paying particular attention to something, either it sits in where it's supposed to be and fits, or it doesn't. I remember listening to a song, It's Never Too Late by Steppenwolf, and the first line of the song sounds like he's saying, rise amongst, and it doesn't make any sense. And I sat there intently listening to that thing over and over, trying to figure out what he was saying. And one day I'm just cruising down the road, my mind's a million miles away, and he very, what, it seemed clear that day that he said, your eyes are moist. And I'm like, the harder you focus on something, sometimes the harder you make it. So with the compressor, after my phase of critical listening where I'm trying to determine, I'm trying to go one way or the other. I really like this drum or I don't, or it's kind of mediocre or whatever. At the point now that it's not at the top of my list of things I'm paying attention to while I'm playing during service or rehearsal. It really sounds great. I mean, it's got a good feel to it. It sounds good. It sounds like a snare drum. I don't like a boxy sounding snare drum, and this thing foots the bill. So, for that reason, I haven't been compelled to break out the artist bronze in a hurry. But that is coming. That is going to happen. So, the last thing on my list here is talking about selling high-end Sonor drums. Now, 20 years ago, I was a dealer, and the quick story for anybody watching that doesn't already know, I was buying and selling parts on the Sonor Museum and had developed quite a network of folks that I would buy from and sell to and that sort of thing. And ultimately, uh, following in the footsteps of ST drums that had a direct connection to Sonor for parts and whatnot, I contacted Honor HSS asking if I could have a access to buy parts directly on a dealer level, price wise, and they weren't set up for that, and they said I'd have to have a dealership. So I bought in. I think it was a $5,000 buy-in at the time, and got the lower level dealership out of three, which meant I didn't have to have as much high end gear in there, but I got the lowest discounts, which means I made the least money. And then if you're trying to price match the guys that are on the upper tier, you can forget it. You can, you'll go hungry. So anyway, this went on for a while, and then I knew that I needed to break into the showcase level, which was the top tier. And on my website, I had a page where I had different customers' pictures and all that. And I don't remember if you could click on the picture. I don't think you could on this page, but it was just pictures of people I was dealing with, or maybe even just friends with, or whatever, that were from the Sonor world. And on mine, it had a subtitle down there that says click this picture for a larger image. So you'd click on that, and it was a large picture of Mel Gibson. So I got contacted by Scott McDonald, who was looking to order a designer series set, and he remarked that he liked my sense of humor. And so we developed a relationship, and he ordered the first designer series drum set that I ever sold, which helped me achieve that top level dealership. So a couple of things he helped to do, and that's to help widen my profit margin across the board, and set me up for some better things as a Sonor dealer. Plus, it was my first designer sale, and I sold 6 or 7 designer series drum sets, and I remember several of the customers, but I don't remember much about their drum sets. But this one I really do. Scott and I had a lot of phone calls about this thing, and he wanted a black interior. And the first designer drum set came without one, and it also came with a busted 16-inch floor tom, which still worked, but it was cracked. I say busted, that's an exaggeration, but it was a cracked floor tom. But they'll let him hang on to all this stuff while they built him new stuff. So the significance of that is that it was a white sparkle set in birch shell. And so when I went to work for Shane at Drum Center of Portsmouth, for about 15 minutes, if you remember, it's been about 2 years now that this was all starting to happen, with going up there. And anyway, so before I even hired on, I already had my first sale rolling, and it was a drum set purchased by the Steve Miller Band, and it was an SQ2, ironically, in white sparkle with birch. In this case, it was heavy birch. And anyway, so just kind of funny how things work out. And I've seen the SQ2 birch in person on tour, and I've actually got the 10-inch tom tom in my closet, and it's going to be my urn when the time comes that I get barbecued after death. And anyway, so when I went to New Hampshire to visit with Shane and then to go to work, I got to visit with that first designer series also, which was ironic and very special. Shane had taken possession of that thing uh, pretty quick after it got replaced, and he liked it a lot, and he held on to that for a long time, and it has since sold. At the time, it had some extra pieces to it. So there was the original core set, and maybe a piece or two of that missing, but replaced by something else. So it was not the sizes that Scott had ordered, but it was still kind of cool to make a personal connection with a drum set that had played such a huge part of of the evolution of my short-lived business. And what I'm going to do for these Coffee with Jules episodes is I'm going to try to find stories to tell from along the way as a Sonor dealer, as a as a Sonor aficionado, and share those with you. So I'm not sitting here just regurgitating the same shit every time I talk to you. And maybe more and more people will start to watch these if there's interesting stuff in there. Never thought to try to make my stuff interesting before, but anyway, you live and you learn, right? Guys, it's Friday. It's been a really good week. I think we got a lot of rain around here, and I don't know when it's going to stop. I hope things are good for you. Hope you're not too hot. Hope you're not too wet. But you know what? Sometimes that just reminds us of how nice a pretty day is, right? If they were all pretty, it really wouldn't mean anything. So sometimes when I go out to eat and have a bad experience, I enjoy I kind of enjoy it because it just reminds me, hey, you know what? This really makes it special when I do get a good meal or do get good service or whatever. I mean, I don't go seeking bad service or bad food. That's not the point. But I've just learned to savor all the ups and downs because it all ties together and it all makes for a very interesting life. And I guess I need to shut up and let you get on with it. Thank you for hanging in there with me if you did. And we'll have some great content out to you soon. I'm working on a lot of stuff, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.